Over the years, there's been a lot of talk and support for those dealing with mental illness, but unfortunately, a stigma still surrounds the topic. But as Michaela Henschel explains, one group of bikers is hoping to change that by motoring across the country.
The Rolling Barrage made its way through Lloydminster on Tuesday, and they've come a long way. A group of 700 men and women are biking from St. John's, Newfoundland to Victoria, BC in only 15 days.
And some long days, some very long days, 12-hour days of on and off the motorcycle. But it's been a lot of fun, great camaraderie, and really good group to be a part of.
This marks the first year for the Rolling Barrage as they fundraise for PTSD awareness organization Military Minds. And although raising money is an important aspect to fund their programs, awareness of mental illness and PTSD is just as impactful.
Well, there's still incidents right now where first responders and vets or serving members are the stigma that surrounds PTSD. It's a career ender. Even though they say it's not, it is a career ender. So a lot of troops don't come forward, and that's really a shame because there's no reason they can't be productive members of society. And
PTSD reaches further than just the men and women on the front line.
It's more than just police, fire, soldiers, veterans. There's so many people in the general population that will be silently suffering from PTSD. And the more awareness that we can create, the less stigma, the more likely someone's going to get help, and this will save lives.
As the epic motorcycle journey comes to its final few days, the Rolling Barrage has helped raise nearly $24,000 to help those who are suffering.
Help donate to help soldiers, help civilians, and help people raise awareness so that we can reduce the stigma, because for these people, life can get better.
Michaela Henschel, Newcap News.
Lloydminster is one step closer to securing funding for the Wastewater Treatment Plant. City Council decided at this week's council meeting to accept a provincial and federal grant of millions of dollars, for which they received approval 2 years ago.
If we signed the money, would that relieve them of any further commitments?
That's the primary concern the city had regarding the Small Communities Fund. But after meeting directly with Alberta Minister of Infrastructure Brian Mason in recent months, Council is now more optimistic.
We felt that he understood that concern, but he also assured us that that is realistic, that he doesn't expect that they're going to get away with just putting in $3 million towards the wastewater treatment plant.
Under the signed agreement, the Alberta and federal governments will each provide $3 million. The mayor says this funding may help the city acquire even more financial support.
Some leverage to go back to the government and say, you've made a commitment here under this program. We don't have enough money. Now all we're asking is to access some additional monies under the new program, and we can hopefully get to the wastewater treatment plant that we need.
The total estimated cost for the plant is $80 million. Well, 4 Canadian Air Force CF-18s took off to Romania this morning, with the majority of the deployed coming out of 4-Wing Cold Lake. The 4 CF-18 Hornet jets from 409 Squadron are headed to Constanta, Romania to participate in NATO-enhanced air policing from September to December. The mission is part of Operation Reassurance, Canada's contribution to NATO assurance and deterrence measures. The other personnel are coming from 2 Air Expeditionary Wing and 17 Wing Winnipeg.
This is Newcap Sports.
Well, fans of the CPCA have 5 days remaining to see their favorite drivers race through the barrels and around the track at the Denham Ramtough CPCA Finals this week. 5 days are all that separate one lucky driver from a brand new truck, and our Lance Phillips is trackside. Lance, with all the rain we received over the last 2 days, how are track conditions for this year's finals?
Yeah, Nicole, we received a ton of rain, and that's putting it lightly, Monday and Tuesday. And the track here took the brunt of the punishment. If you have a look below me here, it's pretty heavy, to say the least. I talked to the guys working on the track earlier today, and they said that the sun and some of this wind has helped. But if you have a look at the track itself, In the barreling area, it's shaped like a V, so all the water has really pooled into the middle of the area. It's going to be heavy on the horses and heavy on the wagons, meaning it's going to be tough to barrel. And as you get around to the straightaways, they all slope towards the rail. So the rail is mucky. It's still quite heavy there as well. I'm not sure what to expect from these horses and these drivers today, but it's going to be tough on them.
Now, Lance, what's the biggest storyline fans should be following with Heat 1 approaching?
Yeah, well, without a doubt, that storyline is the race for 4th place. Normally, it might be 1st or 2nd, but Jamie Labicane has a 2.5-point lead on his brother-in-law, BJ Carey, heading into finals week. And it's an interesting setup. Labicane and Carey are both racing in different heats, but they both have the one barrel. They drew the one barrel in today's races. And I think the advantage there goes to BJ Carey. He drew the one barrel on the final day in Turtleford and was explosive off the line, and his horses really worked well off that one barrel. He raced to a 4th place finish, just missing Day Money by under 1/10 of a second to Wayne Knight. So I think the advantage goes to BJ Carey, and by the time this is over today, we may see a new player in number 4 position.
And lastly, if you were a betting man, who would be your pick to win Day Money tonight?
Well, let me first say, I am not a betting man, and I don't think there's any way that you can bet on anyone to win Day Money. I mean, it is so tight. If you take a look at the standings from the last day of Turtleford, from drivers 1 through 12, there was just under 2 seconds difference between all those drivers, which means one penalty on this track could be a costly mistake, which could cost anybody Day Money. There's no way for anybody to predict who it could be. But if you want to look at somebody to look at, it could be Wayne Knight. He's been fantastic all year long. He's actually been the model of consistency and a guy that a lot of people probably be looking to win this first heat.
All right, thanks for this, Lance. That's Lance Phillips reporting from the Lloyd X.